A Sunday evening, December 6, 1953, 19-year-old Jimmy Wilson arrived at his girlfriend's house at 7 p.m. on Oak Park Avenue in East York in his 1942 Plymouth 5-door coupe. Marion McDowell, 17, lived with her parents Ross Sr., Florence, and brother Ross Jr. The two have been dating for a couple months. That night she wore a white blouse, black wool skirt and bobby sox-style ballerina shoes and simple jewelry, a silver wrist chain with a heart on it and a ring with her initials MM on the left-hand finger. She wore a sweater under her blue coat and carried a purse. The two drove to a secluded lovers' lane on Danforth Road in Scarborough, a few other vehicles around. 90 minutes or so after they arrived, things turned horrible for the two. A man wearing a woolen balaclava opened the passenger door flashing a Walter .38 or a Luger handgun and said, "This is a stick-up. Get out." The man demanded Jimmy's wallet, and once Jimmy handed it over, he was told to turn around, and the balaclavaed gunman searched Jimmy's pockets. The next thing Jimmy felt were 2 blows to the back of his head. As he was in and out of consciousness, he recalls Marion was on top of him seemingly unconscious and they were in the back of his Plymouth in a field with car running. Slipping in and out, Jimmy recalls the man dragging Marion from his car and put her in the trunk of another car parked about 4 feet away and then drove off. Jimmy, filled with adrenaline and courage, crawled into the driver's seat and went on pursuit, unfortunately not being able to catch up. So he drove home, told his father. The two went to the Scarborough police station. It was then Marion McDowell had been reported missing. Jimmy was immediately a suspect in this missing person case, but police soon determined his head wounds could not have been self-inflicted, and the search was on for Marion began, and the man Jimmy described as masked, about 5'8" with a narrow face, who abducted her that night. Jimmy spent 8 hours at the police station. During that time, police searched his car and found his wallet containing $10 and Marion's blue coat, sweater and purse. The rear seat was blood-stained. Jimmy was released and taken to Toronto East General Hospital and required 17 stitches to close the 2 wounds on the back of his head. He had lost a pint of blood. Further investigation by police noted that tire marks indicated there were 2 cars in the field. Police organized a search of the area that night. Marion's father, Ross, stayed out all night and the next morning searching. East York police appealed to the public for information, and within 24 hours of Marion's disappearance, police set up a province-wide search. Posters were distributed to every police station in Canada, offering a $2,000 reward for information leading to Marion's discovery and capture of her abductor. In the days to come, volunteers dragged bonds, looked down open wells and flew over forests and farmlands surrounding the crime scene. The search extended to cottage country as far as Lake Simcoe, with the thought that the kidnapper may be hiding out in one of the summer homes. 2,000 men and soldiers, combing all of Scarborough's 16,187 hectares, came out on Saturday, December 12. After staying away for several days, reportedly because he mistakenly thought police told him to, Jimmy joined the December 12. No trace of Marion McDowell has ever been found. The abduction of the young blue-eyed blonde woman remains one of the oldest unsolved cold cases in Toronto's history. Marion Joan McDowell is described in news reports as friendly, athletic, boisterous and a bit of a tomboy.
As if the abduction of their daughter wasn't enough, about 4 days after Marion's disappearance, the family was tormented by crank phone calls. "This is the kidnapper. I'm getting ready to murder your daughter," said one caller before breaking into maniacal laughter. During several such calls, Ross Sr. could hear voices in the background saying, "Let's kill her now." One person, hoping to profit from the family's grief, sent a note to police stating he had valuable information which would be divulged if $50,000 in $2 bills was dropped at the corner of Don Mills Road and Yonge Street. Marion's father arrived at the appointed place, but no one turned up. Police followed up hundreds of leads, but to no avail. Marion's only sibling, Ross Jr., who was 21 when she disappeared, would go on to join the East York Police Department the summer following Marion's disappearance in what would prove a lifelong career as well as an unending search for his missing sister.